Ladies and gentlemen, today we bring you deeply sad and emotional news that has shaken the gospel music and faith community. The name Juanita Bynum has for decades been synonymous with fiery preaching, soulful gospel singing, and books that reached millions around the world. But now, the announcement surrounding her has left countless fans heartbroken and searching for answers. When the first whispers of this news began circulating online, many refused to believe it. After all, Juanita has always been known as a fighter, a woman who rose from humble beginnings, overcame personal struggles, and built a global ministry that touched the lives of people from every walk of life. Yet, the confirmation that has now reached the public is something many hoped they would never hear. So, who is Juanita Bynum, and why is this news so devastating? To understand the weight of this moment, we need to look back at her extraordinary life and career. Juanita Bynum was born on January 16, 1959, in Chicago, Illinois. Growing up in a Christian home, she showed remarkable spiritual sensitivity even as a child. Her love for God and her natural ability to communicate truth with passion set her apart early on. She began preaching at a young age and quickly gained attention for her boldness and authenticity. But what truly propelled Juanita into international recognition was her 1997 sermon titled, "No More Sheets." This powerful message, which dealt with brokenness, restoration, and personal healing, resonated with people in a way that few sermons ever have. It was raw, it was real, and it spoke directly to struggles that many had been too ashamed to voice. Overnight, Juanita Bynum became a household name in the Christian community. From there, her influence only grew. She released gospel albums, authored books that became bestsellers, and established herself as one of the most prominent female voices in ministry. Her message was often one of resilience, urging people to rise up from the ashes of failure, heartbreak, and despair. And this is why today's confirmation feels so heavy. The very person who once inspired millions through hope and perseverance is now the subject of such sad news. But this story is not just about headlines. It's about a woman who, like all of us, faced struggles behind the spotlight. Juanita's life has been marked not only by success but also by very public challenges. Her marriage struggles, controversies, and even financial difficulties became media stories. And yet she continued to stand, preach, and minister. Which is why, when news broke that Juanita Bynum has been confirmed to be facing serious personal and health struggles in this season of her life, the community responded with shock and sorrow. Though not every detail has been made public, it is clear that her condition is serious enough to deeply impact her ministry work, travel schedule, and personal life. Fans and fellow preachers have already taken to social media, offering prayers, words of encouragement, and reflections on how Juanita's ministry impacted their journeys of faith. Many are holding on to the hope that this setback will not be the end of her story, but rather another chapter in the testimony of a woman who has always risen against the odds. To understand why this moment is so heartbreaking, we must pause and reflect on just how much Juanita Bynum has given to the world. Juanita was not just a preacher. She was a visionary. Through her conferences, such as Women's Weapons of Power and Threshing Floor, she created spaces where thousands of women could gather, worship, and rediscover their purpose. These gatherings weren't just events, they were life-changing encounters for many attendees. Her books, including Matters of the Heart and My Spiritual Inheritance, became staples in Christian households. They were written in a voice that felt personal and relatable, as if she were sitting across the table, speaking directly to you. For women who felt overlooked in ministry, Juanita was a trailblazer. She broke barriers in a field dominated by men and stood tall as proof that women could also lead with authority, power, and anointing. Her music was another avenue of impact. Albums like A Piece of My Passion brought worship into countless homes, with songs that encouraged people to draw closer to God during moments of personal trial. She wasn't just performing, she was ministering through every lyric. And yet, Juanita's journey was far from easy. She went through a highly publicized divorce from Bishop Thomas Weeks in 2008 after a turbulent marriage that ended with domestic violence. The painful incident shocked the Christian community. Instead of hiding, Juanita used her platform to speak openly about abuse, healing, and forgiveness. In doing so, she gave a voice to countless women who had endured similar pain but had been too afraid to speak out. This honesty, this refusal to mask her wounds, is what endeared her to so many. She became not just a preacher on a stage but a sister who understood, who had walked through the valley and could testify of God's grace on the other side. Now, as news confirms that Juanita herself is facing serious difficulties, possibly related to both health concerns and emotional challenges, the sadness is not just about her condition. It's about the reality that someone who poured so much strength into others is now in need of strength herself. Across the globe, churches are lifting her name in prayer. Social media feeds are filled with hashtags like #PrayForJuanita and #StandWithBynum. Gospel artists, pastors, and even secular celebrities who once attended her conferences are reminding the world of the impact she made. It's a reminder that fame and influence do not make anyone immune to pain. Even the strongest among us sometimes need others to hold them up. Juanita has carried millions through her words. Now, the world is being called to carry her through theirs. So, what does this mean moving forward? What will happen to Juanita Bynum's ministry, her music, and her public work? At this point, details remain limited. However, her team has made it clear that she will be stepping back from several engagements to focus on recovery and personal restoration. This news has left many wondering if we are witnessing the closing chapter of a remarkable career. But if Juanita's past is anything to go by, we know one thing for certain: she has never been one to give up. Her story has always been about resurrection, about finding light in the darkest of places. Perhaps this season will be another testimony in the making, one where the woman who taught us to fight through adversity will once again rise stronger than before. Whether or not she returns to the same level of public ministry, her legacy is already sealed. She has given the world decades of wisdom, music, and leadership. Her impact cannot be erased by illness, setbacks, or silence. In moments like this, it is easy for people to speculate or spread rumors. But what Juanita Bynum needs most right now is prayer, compassion, and respect. She has been transparent about her struggles in the past, and she may choose to share more when the time is right. Until then, the most powerful thing her supporters can do is to intercede for her well-being. For fans who feel the weight of this confirmation, let us remember that we too carry a responsibility. Juanita Bynum spent her life praying for broken hearts, interceding for families, and inspiring the hopeless. Now, the call has shifted to us. She needs the same love, faith, and persistence she once poured into others.